Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and today I'm doing a review of Professor X's classic uniform in the hover chair that gives me childhood X-Men, the animated series 90s vibes. Now, this uniform obviously looks completely different than his new reimagined look in House of X, where he has Phantom X's clone body so he can walk around, and he's got Cerebro on his head at all times, so he has a helmet on. He looks very much like Maker. This uniform is obviously completely different looks-wise. It's actually possibly a little bit faster movement speed-wise, which is dope. And of course, it's got the nostalgia. Now, as far as the first 5 skills go, 1, 2, 4, and 5, they're basically the same. You've got the exact same animation there. You've got a very similar animation there with a very similar animation there, like on the enemy. You've got a very similar but very cool animation here on the bottom that looks dope, that I really love. So there are some tweaks, but they're mostly aesthetic tweaks. His second skill is the big change in terms of gameplay because, well, it's one of the 2 skills that have changed big time in terms of gameplay, because instead of moving back and firing off these mind blasts, he moves forward and he fires off mind blasts. And I'll show you what his old uniform looks like. But the big change, there is actually one big skill change, is that his third skill now has no hits at the beginning, but then after he calls down Cerebro from somewhere else, it hits for 25 on a single enemy. And it's got AoE, so he can hit multiple enemies. Really nice skill, and this is definitely the skill that you want to finish your combo with, because as you can see, it's got this really long wind up. Now, it does have some buffs that you're sort of going to be lacking, but you want to start off with the 5 because it has the accumulation anyways. You want to get that going early. So you maybe want to do 5, 3, 4, 2, 1, something like that, or 5, 4, 1, 2, 3. But let me show you his old uniform now, just so you can be reminded, because most of the skills look the same, but the third skill is definitely different. So 1 is exactly the same. 2 is almost exactly the same, except he moves back instead of forward. But here's the big difference here on 3, is he just does 1 blast. Now, it does have an AoE as well, but you can see much fewer hits, right? We're talking almost half as many hits. The other one was 25, this one's 13. That's a big difference. His 4th skill, basically exactly the same, right? No difference there. And then his 5th skill, again, you can also move around with his 5th skill, but his 5th skill is almost the same. It looks really gorgeous here, don't get me wrong. It looks really nice. And then when he blasts, you can see that X for X-Men. But I actually just really like this one better. I think this animation is even more gorgeous, I gotta say. So, you know, as far as his skills go, you're not going to see a massive difference. The character plays almost exactly the same way, except with the old uniform, you probably just want to spam, you know, 4, 3, 1, 2, 5. Even though 5 is the accumulation on both skills, the 5th skill is the one that you can move around with at the end, and you can get through the animations on 1, 2, 4, and 3 much faster. With this uniform, they force you to let Energy Wave cast, right? You have to let it cast. If you cancel it too early, you don't get the hits. I think once the globe turns red, you can cancel it, but it's a pretty decent delay. So you have to make a choice. Do you want to start with 3 and delay your damage and then spam 1, 2, 4, 5, or do you want to do 1, 2, 4, 5 and then land on 3 and end there? It does honestly make his rotation a little bit smoother, because you always have a skill to cast, because 3 takes so much longer. I honestly still really like his playstyle. The other thing they did for him, and I'm starting off with all these differences because otherwise you wouldn't be able to tell, because the character plays almost identically as before, but the other big difference is that his 5th skill now has a 17-second cooldown instead of a 20-second cooldown. Again, that might not make a big deal for some people, but it does make a big deal. It, like in you know, actually in gameplay, practically it does. And then his 4th skill is 18, which I believe they may have changed to 16. So they lowered the cooldown on quite a few of his skills, and so it adds up to a pretty sizable difference there. That one actually went up by 1 second. But yeah, the other big thing to note is how you rank up this uniform. A lot of people are going to be asking that question. I've gotten tons of you know, requests for an answer on this. There is no easy way to rank up this uniform. It's just like not Mystique's uniform. She doesn't have a uniform. It's just like Emma Frost's uniform, or Iceman's uniform, or Sabretooth's uniform, or Namor's uniform. There's no way to get his BIOS except for Danger Room, right? So with those other characters that I named, the only way to get their BIOS is to spend money or to spend crystals. That's basically your answer with Professor X. He's just like Namor, just like Carnage, just like all these other characters. You can definitely use rank up tickets on him, like uniform rank up tickets, and that's where I used my last Mega Mythic uniform rank up ticket. You can see I don't have one anymore, but yeah, my advice to you if you're going to be buying this uniform is to either already have one of these, because that will instantly get it to Mythic, or you can start to save up the other uniform tickets. So you have a chance to get a rare uniform ticket in the Cosmic Core event. I don't know why I repeated myself, but yeah, the rare one is in the Cosmic Core, and then you have a chance to get the heroic, legendary, and mythic ones in the chests that, like the Luke Cage chest and the Dawn of X chest that happen towards the end of the update, where they give you 50 tokens per day. There's 40 chests. It's an 8-day event, and it's the only thing you can buy the tokens with that special Ultron stage. So yeah, it's definitely a pain in the butt slash very expensive to mythic his uniform. But on the plus side, it's his very first uniform. So that is a big deal. For characters that have multiple uniforms, it's not as big of a deal in some cases, right? Like, for example, Mr. Fantastic, if his uniform is not giving him that much of a change, he's already got the extra stats, right? He's already got the extra stats from this uniform compared to this one. So he's got the 25% all defense and all attack, etc. Then those other bonus stats from the options. Professor X doesn't have that. So going from this to this is a big deal, right? You get 25% all attack, 25% all defense. You get 10% mind damage, which is something. But then, I get an extra, 11, almost 1200 energy attack. I get 2000 HP almost. You can't really make up for these stats any other way. So if you take a look at his base stats here, 55,900 energy attack and 41,000 HP. I'm gonna swap this. So his 55 drops to 47. And his HP drops to 38. So I lose about 3,000 HP, and I lose what, like almost 7,000 attack? That's a big deal. He's losing like 1/6 of his attack stat, just poof, gone. So that is a big deal that I can't really put a price on that. If you like Professor X and you really want to play him, then of course this uniform is a must buy. Is Professor X the best blast hero in the game with this uniform? No. I still don't think he's going to be able to take that crown. Human Torch might honestly be better. Cable is probably better. And then you have other options if you include villains like Mephisto. So he's definitely not going to be at the very top, and he hasn't been for a while. But he is going to be better than he was for sure. And he looks amazing if you have any previous experience with the X-Men. So now let's take him into some content and see how much faster he is. So starting us off, we're going to jump into stage 99 of Ebony, and we're going to copy the exact same team that we had before with Professor X to illustrate how his damage has improved or, stayed pretty much the same, because the amount of damage that he's going to deal, the amount more that he's going to deal may not actually be enough to make a big dent, especially on a stage like 99, where with my Pierce I can go pretty dang fast. Although 99 is a high stage, what I meant to say is my Pierce makes you go really, really fast. So there we go. We're going to finish him off, I think, with the 3 and the 1. So there we go. 4th. Oh no, I wasn't supposed to do that. Well, didn't roll my boss of the day. Yep, goofed that up. Anyways, that was 4:33. I completely spaced out on my boss of the day. That was 4 minutes and 33 seconds, whereas he was doing, he did the same stage 4:23. So he's about 10 seconds faster. Again, with all of these tests, he's going to be faster because he's just gaining 7,000 energy attack. So there's really no way for his old base look to make up that time, even if his skills remained exactly the same. Because unlike other characters that are getting their 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th uniform, this is his very first uniform, so it's always going to be a huge stat bump for him. Here we go, stage 9 of Null, and I'm actually going to try and start off with the 3 skill, see if that helps our damage and, just gets us to the cap of the accumulation faster. There may be a better... Oh, I got interrupted there. We're going to pop off the tier 3. Now here, I think even though this is stage 9, whereas Ebony and Cull are stage 99, I think this is still the stage where you're going to see the most variance in terms of his damage, because there's just so much more damage that you need to do. Those stages were being finished so quickly, like in less than a minute, that the differences in time are going to be sort of minuscule. So we're actually going to wait here, and we're going to hold this until the next rotation. We're going to pop it here. Boom. Pop that, pop that. Get that accumulation back. Get the 3 going. Boom, boom, boom. And finish him off with the old 5, 1, 2. And we're ready for the next rotation. So this is nice because with the next rotation, we can just pop the tier 3. And then when he lands, we can pop his other skills here. So we're just going to start with the tier 3, get it out of the way. It's got iframe ignore. Now we're going to pop the 5. We didn't get any rage pop. Okay, we just wasted our tier 3 there. That was really cool. Good stuff, Professor X. Way to be. Okay. Let's see what happens here. He's so fast, you can kind of just mess around with Null as far as, like, just dodging him goes. I thought of saving the tier 3, but I think I'm just going to pop it. Yeah, why not? We can see him in the danger room. We can see Null in the danger room. Yeah, with the lights. It looks really cool, actually. Okay, we just popped the 1 there for some cheeky damage. Pop the 4, pop the 5, pop the 3. Once you see that going, get it going. Pop the co-op there. Back to the 2, back to the 5. Here comes the 6. The 1 to the 2 to the 3. Let's go, Professor X. Iframe through that nonsense. Oh, look at the damage. Skip that whole phase. Yeah. Nice. There's quite a bit of burst on the 3. Quite a bit of burst. So we're here with 3 minutes left. We're just going to cruise around in Gary, Indiana. And yeah, we should have this done in about 2 minutes, maybe a little bit more. We are going to pop the tier 3 here because we just want to go. Pop the co-op skill. Yeah. Flying. Absolutely flying. Here we can pop the 5. Or we can't pop the 5 because the character... I don't know what's going on right now. The game is like locked in some stupid attack. That was so dumb. Just wasted so much time because it was like obsessed with casting the 3rd skill. I think it's a bug when you pressing a skill and it goes into a cutscene. It just like forces you to press that skill next, and it was on cooldown, so it wouldn't let me press any other skills. And we should be done. So yeah, 2:05. Oh, wow. That's actually my best run ever. Wow. I should have put that one on YouTube. Ow. I already recorded. Ow. I already recorded the YouTube video for Professor X. So he gains 32 seconds, and it actually could have been more if I didn't get locked up for about 5 seconds there at the beginning of the phase change because of that little bug. So I would say probably around a 35% gain. That's at least 1 stage minimum that he's going to jump for you. Let's say you have 0 pierce right now, and you're able to clear stage 5 with Professor X. Buying this uniform and maxing it out is going to get you at least 1 or 2 stages higher without making any other changes to your build, not adding Odin's Blessings or adding a CTP or adding Pierce in your cards or anything. Is that 2-stage bump worth it to you? Again, it all depends on whether or not you play Professor X. Like, Iron Man obviously got a way bigger bump, but Iron Man before Superior Iron Man was so much worse than Professor X. So when you're already that high up, you know, if he were to get a bump similar to Professor X, if Professor X were to get a similar bump to Iron Man, Superior Iron Man uniform, he'd be the best character in the game now, because Iron Man like quadrupled his damage. If you quadruple this man's damage, he's gonna have 2 wheelchairs. You know, he'll be riding dirty. So yeah, hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you think of Professor X. I honestly love this uniform to bits, but I do understand it's extremely expensive and sometimes cost prohibitive for players. So, you know, I wanted you guys to know what the pros and cons are of the uniform and how much you can expect to jump with him. But really, I think it comes down to whether you love the character and you love this iconic look or not. Because honestly, we're kind of spoiled for choice here. Both of his looks are super iconic. Super iconic. So yeah, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.